Okay, whatever. Hello, chat. It's been an awkward setup here. Technical difficulties up the wazoo. But yeah, no, that did happen. Everything is smooth. Welcome on in, chat. How we doing? Ay. Oh boy, this last hour has been kind of crazy, chat. So for you guys that aren't in the know, I got a PS5. I went in looking for a new controller so I could not deal with this PS3 controller any longer, but instead of getting a DualShock 4 or whatever, I ended up walking out with an entire PlayStation 5. Last one in stock. Oh yeah! Now we can stream Demon Souls. I just have to figure out how I can stream with consoles. Yeah! Oh boy. As we can see, I also got Solaire to come over here. Very wonderful. Wonderful indeed. So, let's just get started while I finish up eating.
Oh, there you are. You've been quiet these days. Smooth summoning out there. Anytime you see my brilliantly shining signature, do not hesitate to call upon me. You left me with quite an impression. I would relish a chance to assist you. You really are fond of chatting with me, aren't you? If I didn't know better, I think you have feelings for me. Oh no, dear me, pretend you didn't hear that.
Okay, sure, then I won't. No shipping today, chat.
You really are, if I didn't know better.
Okay. So before we start on today's agenda, we're heading back to the painting world. For one reason and one reason alone. And that is, I forgot the gold coin I wanted to get last stream. I was like, is there something I'm forgetting here? No, I think I got everything. Literally missed the one thing I was supposed to get. Darn. Just Loki things. Seath shall seethe. Yep, Sneed. Definitely true. Solaire's gonna burn himself sitting so close to the fire. That is true, Ellie. That is true. Solaire needs to take a step back. Now, as I said before, we find Solaire sitting here even before we light the bonfire, possibly. Obviously, we have to light it first before we can use it. So it does sort of cast doubt on whether we can believe there's actually a bonfire there or whether or not Solaire's just resting in an empty room. Again, quite feasible. We never get a clarification on any bonfires that can exist outside of gameplay, save for the 3, which of course have firekeepers attached to them. We of course learned from Dark Souls 3 at least, well I guess Dark Souls 2 too, that the bonfires can exist theoretically separate from the firekeepers, though even then the game isn't always clear on when this is the case and when it's just there for gameplay. Obviously, when a bonfire spawns in after we defeat a boss, such as say the 4 Kings in the middle of the Abyss, we can probably take for granted that that bonfire isn't canonical. It's just there because we have to warp out of this place because the game traps you in this area. Also, my DualShock 3 is working right now, though that seems to be because I popped out the analog stick. I basically have the thing not clicked in where it should be. Oh. That's fine. Ooh. There we go. Let's get our one item and get out. Ooh. Back to this cold, wintry wonderland. All because I'm trying to make a point. Now, I should have also gotten a gold coin from one of the mimics, but I was an idiot and apparently didn't pick it up. So, that sucks from me. But whatever. Died, lost an item, I guess. In the meantime, we will pick up the other gold coin that we can collect here. Now, again, I talked about how the gold and silver coins are interesting as they help date things. Now we get a copper coin from Petrus, who of course is a modern person from the world of man. So we can imagine that that coin was minted recently, that copper coin or bronze coin, whichever, I forget how the localization puts it. Either way, the idea being, of course, that Petrus has a coin that has the image of a god, a very common god you can imagine being respected by a lot of people. Old Man McLoif. the god of alcohol and medicine. He loves to drink. Likely he's the type of guy you'd see at a bar, hence why he's called Old Man, again, in the sort of an endearing sense. Like, hey, old man, give me a pint. Something like that. And then you got, of course, the whole, also being the guy who, hey, after a bare-knuckle brawl because you've been drinking all night, he'll fix you up. Because he knows some medicine. So that's cool. There we go. Oh. Now the plan was maybe do Ornstein and, Smo today, but that might not happen. Because I want to take a detour downstairs. Because I now have Priscilla's dagger. And if I've killed the waifu for this, I may as well use this weapon for my dex build. Which has been very much a strength build with this ghost dagger. Yeah, there it is. Yeah! Gold coin, there we go. Now, gold coins, much like the one we've got with the Guinevere, has the image of Allfather Lloyd. Now, again, Allfather means chief god, telling us not that he's literally the father of all, but that he is the head of the pantheon of the gods of Velka and New Londo. We have this idea of a white halo. Now, again, halo means a ring of light. You can also translate this as just ring of light, aureole, corona, as Dark Souls 3 puts it. But it's all the same thing. The idea being is that there's this, again, ring of light. We, of course, see this associated with the Way of White itself, because of the white halo used for represent holy weapons, which I don't think I have one on me to show. Yeah, but you can see it here at the bottom with auxiliary effects. Little white ring versus, say, heathen weapons, which have a black ring to kind of show the corruption there. But the important bit is that we find a gold coin in here, which again reminds us, much like the egg vermifuge we found in this area, of Lloyd, the church that he runs in the Way of White. The idea that the Way of White are the people who, at least for even after Anor Londo's been sealed off from the outside, they're the ones who are bringing prisoners, say, pyromancers on the fringes who are deemed heretics. And so the Way of White doesn't like those people who worship the gods of chaos and all that. Don't like them at all. So they have to go live out in a swamp, and if they're not in that terrible swamp that we can't follow them in, because, you know, all the various hazards and threats, not an easy place for Lloyd's big tanky warriors to trudge through. Well, we'll just get the ones that come in from the fringes, right? Those who are just on the outskirts of our control, but as soon as they're just within our grasp, we'll grab them and then throw them over into the painting world. Or, say, Dark Wraiths. Okay, well, not all the Dark Wraiths are being hunted by Artorias. Maybe even after Artorias is no longer hunting them, we find more. Okay, we'll lock them up in the painting world, maybe interrogate them, kind of learn some things or whatever, right? So, like, all the idea that you have these various characters, these various undesirables who are being siphoned out of mainstream human society and brought into the painting. Now, let's use this. Get out of here. The power of not getting hungover. Too powerful. Hey, Scanty. What? Oh, right. I forgot. That's how this works, doesn't it? Okay, I gotta leave. I gotta physically leave. Gotcha. Okay. Understood. I hear ya. I know we've already done the prison break sequence, but you want to have me keep doing it. Gotcha. Alright. Time to break out the Ariamis prison again. Gotta go to Anor Londo, and then I can do what I want. Watch, because I use the homeward bone here, it's gonna take me just back into the painting if I use it outside at this point. There we go. Now again, like I said, popping out the analog stick seems to have fixed the controller for the time being, but that's not a reliable way to keep this thing fixed. So we're gonna still be looking into getting either a PS5 controller to work on this or something. Oh, yeah, I'm not dying. There we go. If you use the homeward bone outside the painting, it will lead you to the first Anor Londo bonfire, actually. Oh, is that so? I guess we gotta test it. You are correct. You are correct, Scanty. So then, will it take me back to my last rested bonfire if I leave, here, then? Because I last rested at, Firelink. If I'm wrong, you can ban me. Well, no, you avoided the ban, Scanty. Good job. You provided me with accurate information. Very impressed. No gulag for you. There's Seath's, high and mighty tower. Alright, let's get out of here. Alright, now, will I return, can I return to Firelink? Oh, that's not what I wanted. Come on, take me back to Firelink. Come on, you can do it. Bring me to Firelink, man. It actually resets you. Okay, we gotta go all the way manually. My plan did not work out. Going to the painting world, going back to Anor Londo was clearly a mistake. Okay. And here I am thinking I was clever, giving us a shortcut so we don't have to go all the way back, but nope. We gotta do it. Okay. Gotcha, game. You know what, I'm even gonna let this cutscene play because I want to finish my food. So, just watch the demons take me back. Just like you know way too much about the lore, I know way too much about the mechanics of this game. Yep, that sounds fair. I can't complain there. I put all my souls into the lore stat. Nothing in gameplay, clearly. I don't know how I beat this game the first time. I evidently don't know shit. That's over here, right? So we do this way, if I remember. Yeah. God, I love drop distances in this game. Oh. Oh. Sorry. Wait. Wait a second. Did I make a mistake? No. No. No, because that's the fall there. I did something wrong. I could have swore I dropped down here, don't I? No, that takes you all the way back down the other way. Where the hell is this shortcut? It's over here. Oh, whoopsie. Right. Gotta not press down. There we are. Guys, there... Okay, so that's the problem. I should have dropped down there. I should have just dropped down here. Okay. Noted. In case that ever becomes relevant in the future. I just went too far. I thought it didn't matter. Gotcha, it did. Really? Really? You guys decided you were gonna stand next side by side that one time? Whatever, fine. Hey, Andre, you got anything new to say? No, you haven't. The church has erased them. It appeals to the humanity inside you. You feel that affinity, as it were. There we go, we're good. So to upgrade Priscilla's dagger, I need me some dragon scales. So I'm gonna be turning into Seath. I'm on the hunt for them dragons, them stone-scaled dragons. We shall find them down below. Domhall gave us a wonderful hint. There is secretly an archdragon that is being worshipped by a bunch of undead. These undead are trying to become archdragons themselves. They want to shed their mortal coil of flesh and become immortal stone beasts. There we go. Hey, Siegmeyer, anything new to say?
There you are. I'll be heading down below shortly. No worries.
Yeah. Okay. Well, time for us to go down. Oh, no, wait. First, I want to rest here, because we want to kill the dragon zombie first and foremost. That's an easy choice. Let's see. We go here, around. Now, as we established last stream, statues of Velka were the main depiction at the graveyard in the painting world. And what do we see here but the same statues in New Londo? So again, we get the notion that Velka here, again, this statue removes the child, though this isn't case for all depictions of her in this city. But essentially, we get the sense that Velka was the patron god of New Londo, which makes sense. It's a country of undead, for undead, by Anor Londo. The idea being is to have all the undead, when they started first showing up, gather here in their own city under Anor Londo's watchful eye. Literally right under their noses. Having the goddess of sin watching over these undead who are considered monsters who are sinning by their very existence is therefore a natural fit. And given that Velka, as we established in the painting world, has certain proclivities, that she has a love for all sorts of arts, old and new, including the dark, especially the dark, it makes sense that she would be in this situation. Now, as we can see, good old crestfallen warrior here. He went down, he decided to do something about the smell with Frampt, and that meant moving downstairs, where he hollowed. Did he get killed? Did he just finally succumb to his heartbroken status? Who knows, but in the end, this is his fate. Oh. Man! He's better at parries than me! Huh? Okay. Alright, an eye for an eye, my friend. Hey, Rapucha! Good to see ya. Gonna deal with you first. Oh, right. Okay, I see. Is this gonna just be a parry battle? Oh. There we go. I'll keep parrying you if you will. Oh, I'm using the Priscilla dagger. Whoopsie. There we go. Crestfallen is dead. The heartbroken warrior. Well, his heart be broken no more. Now his body's broken. Don't know which is worse. But yeah, we will talk more about Velka being the patron god and the implications this has in many other areas down the line. But again, it is notable to say that Velka is, of course, critical to the god's initial fire linking plan. She is the god who is essentially assigned as the overseer. She's the one who's basically entrusted to handle this undead conundrum. And obviously she has a lot of influence. So you never even know. She could have personally put herself up there, but honestly it works either way. Whoa. Oh. Ouch. Okay, don't get hit. Gotcha. Got it. Never, ever get hit by big, scary zombie dragon. Okay. Understood. Woo. Darn, I should have gone to the back of the shrine where Frampt was to show something off here, but oh well, if I die again and come back up here, I'll do it. Please don't let me die. Okay, we gotta also remember to bring this up because I don't trust me. Yeah, New Londo ruins! Woo! Yeah, Valley of Drakes! Also, this door gives me a heart attack! Why does it open this way? Open the other way, please! You're gonna make me try to kill myself trying to go around here. Do you not see the cliffs? Who designed that exit? Okay. Now, Mr. Zombie, it has come to my attention that you like one-shot me. Okay. Well, your health isn't that bad, so... what we want to do... oh. Oh, okay. So you can do that. Good to know. Oh boy. And I thought Hellkite was going to be a pain. Oh boy. Anyway, as I was saying, so similar to how we have the Velka statues from the painting world, we have a similar image of a woman in a cowl or hood here holding a baby with sitting on some nature. There's always been a question, of course, of who this statue is, but again, recall that this is an extension of the New Londo ruins. So if New Londo ornaments itself with statues of Velka, both for the lift of its prison, the other lift at its entrance, and of course at the area where the Four Kings is, that chamber, that's also ornamented with statues of Velka. In fact, those statues have Velka with little Priscilla there with her. Then we can imagine that this is a similar depiction. That this is again supposed to highlight Velka with her baby. You might even say perhaps a symbol of her sin. But again, I'm getting ahead of myself. Again, just recall that whenever these doors would open and you'd be expected to jump down, we can actually jump down ourselves and there'll be magic that will slow and stop our falls so we don't, go splat. This essentially, though, gives us the idea that, oh, you would always be watched over by an image of Velka as you would prepare for, again, this is a shrine or a ritual place for the fire linking. So again, in preparation for helping keep the first flame alive, you might be sent down here. And of course we will see. We will see when we finally get to that Firelink chamber what that's all about. That will probably be done with Koth. So what I'm probably going to do is, we beat Ornstein and Smo. We probably do like a little Duke's Archives, like get all the way to the DLC stuff so we can get the item there. Then we go back to, back down here and do New Londo. So that way we get 4 Kings out of the way, do Ingrid's dialogue and all that. And then finally we'll do Koth. And Koth will take us to the Firelink Chamber. I think that's the plan. Oh. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So let's see. What's the stratagem? I guess I'm just gonna have to keep on hitting and running. I can't go for the bleed with this. And until I get my dex up, and Priscilla's dagger upgraded, I don't think I'm gonna get a lot of value off of, I'm probably not gonna get lots of value off of that weapon. Dang it! Okay, I can only go for 3 hits. Gotcha. 2 hits is too much. Dang it. Hello? Oh god, this is gonna be a pain in the ass. Alright, just gotta around here. There we go. There we go. I think we got him in a loop, boys and girls. Come on. So I can't get the 4th hit in if I'm fast enough. Nice. And if I'm good on my timing with the dodge roll. There we go. Woo! Dragon scale! Exactly what I wanted. Okay, that's 1 zombie down. Now again, like we said last time, the wyverns and this archdragon zombie were likely sent by Anor Londo in order to help guard the way to New Londo. Make sure that no one would be able to enter the city through the front door. Obviously, we can see how the entire gateway over there was clogged up with dirt and rock and all that. Rubble's basically been used to fill in the tunnel there, which presumably led to the world of man. As we can see, there's also, to reinforce this, we have a lift on the side that leads up to Ulasil, or rather the ruins of Ulasil and Darkroot Garden / Basin. So again, giving us the idea that, yeah, this is the gateway which would lead to the wider human society. And then, the Archdragon may have been the leader, obviously, because when you have a bunch of wyverns, you're probably going to have the bigger dragon be the one in charge of them. But as we can see, a bunch of Astoran knights were coming through, and they killed the dragon zombie. Well, rather, they killed the dragon, and now he's a zombie. Well, was a zombie. He's dead. Words. I wrote a book, everybody. By the way, you should be able to buy my 2-volume compilation of all of Dark Souls lore, complete with Japanese commentary. The most complete, consistent, and coherent take on Dark Souls lore you'll ever be able to hear. Check the description. You can be able to go to the store page from there and be able to buy both a physical and digital copy, if you so choose. Either or, whichever you want. I don't mind. Your support is always appreciated. And I'm glad to be able to support the community with so much more information that help you better understand this crazy, crazy story told by Miyazaki. Okay, grift over. Whoop! Back to serious gameplay. Oh. Oh. There we go. There we go. Oh. Oh. Game. Oh. That's not what I wanted. Ow. You guys are somehow more of a pain in the ass now that I'm higher level than when you were low level. Whoop. Or maybe I'm just being stupid. I'm probably being stupid because I'm fighting 2 of you at this once. Maybe Silver Knights have gotten me cocky. That's probably it. That's probably the problem. Oh my... Right, there's 3 of you, technically. Alright, now there's only 2. Then there were 2. Thank you. Thank you, iframes. Oh. Woo! Thank you. Rotting dragons are an interesting concept in the context of the disparities brought with the First Flame, life and death especially. Exactly, and that's the point that's supposed to highlight. The dragons are, by their nature, immortal, everlasting, unperishing. They are not supposed to decay because they have eternal life, right? They don't get old and die like true life, right? They are half mineral, stone. Their stone bodies, even though they have the souls of disparity, allow them to continue being much like how they were in the Age of Ancients. However, killing these dragons, as we can see, causes their bodies to rot like anything else. Again, we see this with Nito, right? Nito used the power of death to force entropy to even their stone bodies. So, the point is, of course, that just because they are quote-unquote everlasting doesn't mean they are immune to death. It's just arguable on whether or not what life and death even means in the context of these creatures. Again, they are transcendent in a way. They transcend life of flesh as immortal creatures of stone. And as Miyazaki says in the DesignWorks interview, again, the Japanese puts it a bit simpler compared to how the English tries to pretty it up, but he essentially says he wants to capture the sadness of a dying dragon. This creature, which is immortal, and yet it is dying. It is decaying. It is rotting. It's a quite perverse, but in a tragic sense, twisted sight to see in this world. That disparity has essentially given the dragons no place to truly belong. They are creatures of stone, and yet they will rot. And yet, because they are immortal, their souls will reattach to that rotting corpse and come back to life so easily. Hey, George! Good to see ya. Hey, Aerodynamism! Hello, why did New Londo tolerate drakes? Because they were good pets. Why would, okay, so, again, between the Painting World's Archdragon Zombie and the Valley of Drakes Archdragon Zombie, we get the idea that, again, it wasn't just dragon parts that were being taken. They weren't just taking the heads of their hunts. They were also taking survivors and bringing them into New Londo. Again, this gets expanded on a little bit with Dark Souls 3 with Medea. Good old Medea. But, again, not to focus too much on Dark Souls 3, The wyverns, as we can see, are lightning breathing, so you can tell that the gods have experimented to make them that way. Obviously, that's no matter how much disparity you get, you're not going to get a whole species of wyverns of sunlight affinity when they're supposed to be, again, to the stone element. Very clear Anor Londo affiliation. And like I said, cut content would actually have a Dragon Airy style, bunch of wyverns flying around, shooting lightning down on you, similar to what we get with the gargoyles in the final game. So, this was all in the cards. Oh, I know what I'm missing. There we go. And then we're gonna want to do this. This will be on the test, clearly. And I think we have some extras we can give to good old Siegmeyer, if we find him down here. First, we want to go here, though. Nope, you're not what I was expecting. There we go. There he is. Don't come near me. I'm not part of your chaos cult anymore. At least I don't think I am. Wait, did I ever leave? Did I join another covenant? I don't remember. So New Londo was the God's little human pet project. Yes, in a way. We'll talk more about that when we get to New Londo, but the short answer is very much yes. Oh, look, there's, Laurentius. He just got himself poisoned. As we can see, Laurentius hollowed. He did not find the fair lady. We showed him our Chaos Flame Pyromancy, our Chaos Fireball. He was like, ooh, will you tell me where you found that? I want to find those original Primal Pyromancies. Yeah, you killed the mosquitoes for me, bud. I really appreciate it. Oh my god. Yeah, could you, like, kill the mosquitoes for me? Like, there we go, thank you. Oh, that wasn't a backstab? Okay. Okay, whatever. Oh, there he is. Yeah. Where's Siegmeyer? Where's Siegmeyer of Katarina? But yeah, so New Londo was essentially a little human pet project, and once that pet project went kaboom, the gods were like, okay, we're gonna clog up the entryway so no one can go into the New Londo gate, and even if they somehow find their way in, like say that Astoran party who killed the dragon zombie, we'll station a bunch of dragons there that we have control over. So again, we can see how the dragon hunts were beneficial to the gods in more than just giving them body parts for them to experiment with iron golems. They also had wyvern specimens. Again, we also see examples of wyverns and stuff with, like, the Nameless King in Dark Souls 3. Like, tons of examples of this. But the underlying point is, hey, the medials were like, dragons were this great, powerful apex predator. Let's take a few and make them our slaves. I mean, we already did with every other race, basically. There you are, my friend. Oh. There we go. I will say, this is impressive that he can do this. Me, I would fall face first into that poison swamp and die of plague. Uh-huh. I see.
But I'm short on antidote knots for the trip back. By my knighthood, I'm ashamed to ask, but can you spare a few scraps of moss?
Sure.
Fantastic. Thank you. A saint you are. This knight of Katarina expresses his deepest gratitude. I shall not forget this. Please, take this, the symbol of my appreciation.
Woo!
Well, our fates do seem entwined.
You had a spare shield.
Is the will of Lord Gwyn.
So again, we see how the gods, as exemplified here, Katarina is a country which proves to be incredibly pious. We never talked about a Mit Force, but let's get to that now. Oh, sorry, Siegmeyer. There we go. Emit Force is of course interesting because much like the regular Force, it's stems from Wrath of the Gods. Again, we see the giant royal guards use this spell, along with the I think it's Replenishment they also use. But anyway, the point is, of course, is that they Katarina also seems to have known Wrath of the Gods, or rather a scaled down version of it. But unlike Katarina, the Way of White doesn't know this version. They only know the standard force they have, the one that just goes all around in the AoE. It's not directed. This one is foreign to them. This is something that's just not known. And again, the point being made here is as an outland miracle. A miracle of the term outland here meaning frontier, a remote region. This is very important because, again, we already established earlier the idea of the Ulasilian miracle, Tranquil Walk of Peace, how that is similarly an outland miracle. And obviously, Ulasil being in the land of the gods, Lordran, and far from away from the world of man, is naturally going to be considered a remote region, even if it's technically part of human society. So, again, we can easily see, okay, well then Katarina must be somewhere in similar. Now, I didn't know this up until we were in the editing process for Abyssal Archive. This was very last minute. Sneed could tell you as well, but the Giants use Great Heal. Okay, yeah, that makes sense, because the idea is the more powerful versions of those spells that the Way of White pairs down. So yeah, that makes sense, Sneed. It's Great Heal. Couldn't remember exactly if it was Replenishment or something else. But the point is that I didn't know about the hair eye color things and how we could get special lore attached to that. I thought it was like the other games, or at least I assume so. So I didn't realize that we got confirmed outright that Katarina is a northern country, much like how Lordran is north. So, essentially what we're being told is that Katarina must be a human nation which borders Lordran. It's incredibly close to the land of the gods, therefore it has this extra religiosity behind it. You can see this in the idea of Jubilant Katarina. Jubilant is the term, the kanji is associated with stuff like the yang, again, like bright cheerfulness, sunny dispositions, that type of deal, right? So, contrast with like the yin disposition of Karim, which is very, very gloomy, you know, very like gloomy, down, dark, you know, shadowy, you know, all that type of jazz. So we're essentially being told that Katarina is a country which, again, as a northern country bordering the land of the gods, had all that influence of Anor Londo religion and culture, becomes really big on Gwyn and stuff, and they're not quite, and they're a bit, because of how far they are, close to the land of the gods, they're a bit out of the Way of White's reach, so they don't have the same level of, cultural diffusion going on. So Katarina basically developed its own little weaker version of Wrath of the Gods in its own way, completely separate from the Way of White, and their religion is basically their own thing where they focus a lot on Gwyn. You may have noticed with the Way of White, even Vince tells us about giving grace and thanks to God, but doesn't ever name Gwyn. Gwyn is never brought up compared to, say, Siegmeyer here, who, again, makes a huge focus there. Miyazaki also highlights this, how the Way of White and the Sunlight Covenant, people like Siegmeyer, these are all sun-worshipping faiths, but they're not necessarily all part of the same religion. They're almost like different offshoots or sects, almost. Katarina is an onion country, obviously. Goofy the Grafted, that was good. You made me choke. Makes sense that there's so much dispersed Katarina equipment in Dark Souls 2, then. Yeah, to some extent. Dark Souls 2 stuff ties into more with, like, a lot of other things are going on for why a bunch of Lordran stuff ends up there. But you do have a similar idea that there, again, it's a sun-worshipping country, and it's quite removed from everyone else. But you can imagine that, yeah, because it's so close to Lordran, a lot more Katarina equipment might get brought in across time and space. Anyway, let us now focus on getting down to the Great Hollow. Yeah. You have my poison moss. Now again, this the English here says purple poison moss. Sorry. I'm sorry. It says purple moss clump. Now the term moss clump, I would have translated it as its more literal moss ball because, well, it's literally a ball of moss. But the purple part is actually, it says poison purple, essentially. So similar to how blood red moss clumps are, again, blood red moss balls of moss. This is supposed to be, it's blood red and it's purple poison, because apparently poisons in this part of the world are generally purple. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Darn it. It's a... Oh. I'm gonna... Whoop. Darn it. That's gonna take me all the way back to Firelink, isn't it? It is, isn't it? You see, Siegmeyer is like an onion because I cry when I have to cut him. Damn it! This is what I do when I'm not paying attention! Velka, please, what sins have I committed, besides, like, literally joining every other covenant without formally cutting ties with the other one? Please, goddess of sin, explain to me, what am I being punished for? Why do you do this to me? This arrow always reminds me of the time... Oh, George just deleted his comment. I guess I'll wait until I get the new one. There we go. Okay. Ignore the enemies, go straight for the souls, then get to the Great Hollow. Stop being an idiot, Loki. I know, it's hard. All I have to say is Yulva is very lucky she found a very sick town literally right outside the city. Otherwise, who knows how long she'd have to travel before she found people. This always reminded me of the time I got covered in leeches when I went down to the bog under my cousin's house. Well, that sounds terrifying. You know, maybe I should have just not looked out for the revised version of that. Like, oh my. How did that work out? Clearly you lived. Thank you, I guess. Oh no, that's death. That's a death trap. Oh. Oh. God, two-handing and not two-handing with a dagger is like night and day. Oh. I was about to get myself killed again. This reminds me of the time I found an onion. Just found a random old onion. Nothing special about it. It didn't sleep, it didn't snore. That's a weird onion. No onion I've ever seen, that's for sure. So guys, now that I have a PS5, once I figure out how to stream with it, we're gonna play Demon Souls. That'll be the next lore play, I think. I'm really excited for that. Actually gonna play Demon Souls, a game I've covered the entire lore for. Feels good, man. My first playthrough of Demon Souls. Let's go. Oh. Alright. Let's go this way. Don't even need to waste my moss because the bonfire's up here. Yay! I know, right? It's got the... Thankfully, the guy at the register when I was going to buy the PS4 controller was like, okay, listen. We might have a PS5 in... Because we were talking about it, obviously, because that's what you do when you are at a tech area in any store. You're like, oh yeah, you know, get that PS5, right? Never there! And he was like, you know, maybe we have one out back, so we call him. Well, he called them up on the radio, and what do you know? They had one out back. The last one in stock. Like, hot damn. I clearly had so much humanity on me that my luck stat was through the roof. Got my discovery up. Ay. Alright, we are at the Great Hollow. As I've said in past streams, this tree, as we see from its lack of leaves and everything outside, and well, being a hollow, it was killed by the poison swamp. Unlike, say, the other tree in Firelink, which is all doing fine and healthy, this one in the poison swamp has been killed. So congratulations, a majestic tree which has survived for hundreds of thousands of years, most likely, perhaps even millions, was killed because of pollution in the last 100 years. Humans! Ugh! This is why the Age of Dark is bad, chat. We'll just keep on spreading our human pollution, clearly. Hypothetically, would Demon Souls have enough content for a book? Yes, I think so. It would not be 2 volumes like Abyssal Archive. It'd probably be 1 volume, and it'd probably be a little smaller. But yeah, there's enough content there for a full volume book. So, like, if you guys see a Fog Archive in the future, you'll know why. You're not tempting me. I will not fall for that. Yeah, nope. Actually, maybe I could do so if I jump from above? Okay, do I have souls left to spend? I do not, okay. Yes, I'd have to fall here. Yeah, which really means falling here. There we go. There's the Chloranthy ring. We can talk about this. In fact, you know what? I don't care enough about poise. Let's add more to my recovery speed. I want to have always stamina. Woo! Look at that bar! Yeah! Another aspect of the disparities, everlasting trees can be killed too. Yeah, exactly. Life and death, right? No light or dark lord will keep me from graciously gifting car batteries to fish in need. The age is meaningless. Ay, ay, ay. I mean, that's what Dark Souls 2 will tell you. Choice? What choice? You just do the mission, bruh. You got your endpoint. Who cares about the philosophical implications that you would have to ponder over? You're now king. King of what? Don't know. Anyway. Red Titanite chunk. We'll find lots of Titanite here. But, okay, let's focus on the actual ring. Now, the Chloranthy ring here, it's an old ring. Gray has this, they say engraved here, but it's more so it's, it's made, it's modeled on in the shape of a blossoming green flower. It has unknown origin, but we can actually see this very image down to the number of petals on the coffins of the giants in the Tomb of the Giants. Huh. Now, again, presumably also the, smaller coffins might have this, but again, obviously those are scaled down. And actually, I don't think we've looked inside the inside to confirm, so it might just be the giant ones. Anyway, the point is that we can see this image done here. So we can assume that this ring belongs to Anor Londo. Dark Souls 3 reinforces this with how we find it near a Way of Light church, well, more like a shrine infrastructure. And then, of course, in the Ring City, we ultimately find it held in the hand of a statue of Gwyn. So, again, the idea that this ring, which, again, has the image of a flower, we've talked about before how the image of a blossoming flower is associated with the sun and sunlight, which makes sense in and of itself because, well, resemblances and all that. But the idea being there is okay, green increases stamina regeneration, which again isn't like the healing magic we see often with the gods, but we do see stuff like this with Fina, etc. So the idea that sunlight magic again is associated with this invigorating feeling of, oh, I can do more because I have this energy from the sun, right? Get your vitamin D, chat. Need that vitamin D. Stay hydrated. Speaking of, I don't have water. Oops. Guess we'll have to take a break and do that at some point. But the idea is okay, so this is an old symbol of Anor Londo, essentially. That's been basically forgotten nowadays because Anor Londo doesn't really use it that much anymore compared to other symbols. But we do get the idea how early on Anor Londo associated the sun with flora and stuff, because obviously, again, Guinevere's a harvest goddess for a reason. Sunlight is kind of important. There we go. Yep. Well, there's There's that. We want to go back up there. Oh. There we go. I swear, these hitboxes are going to get me killed. Titanite chunk. As we can see, there are more of these basilisks. Now, we found them in the moist and humid, there we go. The humid... Oh. Oh. Oh, no. That's not good, chat. Woo! These guys take 4 hits now. This is bad. There we go. But we found them in the humid area, such as the depths. Now we will find them in a humid area down below, and this is the foreshadowing. The basilisks likely come from the, as what I call in Abyssal Archive, the lower world. So basically, everything above the arch trees is the upper world, right? So the arch trees hold up the ceiling of the rock foundation of the Earth's crust. It's a hollow Earth, a cold Earth theory, essentially, that this world operates on. And so everything above, up top, is the upper world. Then the arch tree, the reaches of the arch tree below is the lower world. So you could argue we're already in the lower world, because we're already going far and below the base of the arch tree that is up here above the crust. Similar symbol is also in Gwyn's armor. Ooh, I have to look at that scene. I don't recall... I guess I wouldn't be... I'm not surprised if there's a flower imagery, but is it similar to the Chloranthy ring? That'd be interesting in and of itself. We do see a revival of the flower symbol in the Cathedral of the Deep, don't we? Well, yes, but here's the thing. Like I said before, Anor Londo, in general, has flower imagery and stuff associated with the gods and sunlight and all that. So, like, that's nothing new. We're talking about the Chloranthy specifically. Its specific image is used with the coffins of the giants and the Tomb of the Giants. And, well, right, it's here. Right, we can't show bigger images because this is Dark Souls 1. Rah! Anyway, the point is that the Chloranthy ring with its petals, I think it's like 20 outer petals and like maybe like 10 or 16 inner petals or something, or was it 8? Something like that. Anyway, those petals give us a clear indication of the early history of Anor Londo there. How early they started associating the sun with flowers. Now, obviously, that continued and became various other symbols, like what we see in Anor Londo proper with the image of a sort of a smaller blossoming flower within a sun imagery, which, again, as I said before, I'm pretty sure that's like a stock image. Oh. Well, get used to that, chat. But yeah, basic idea is that, yes, we see the gods of Anor Londo, and in various places associated with them have this flower imagery used in churches and places like that. Now, obviously, we don't see an undead parish, because the undead parish is more focused about the undead heroes who will link the fire and all that, right? Like, we're gonna find the fire linking. One of you is a hero, so be victorious, be a warrior, find Guinevere, get a revelation from her, don't be a simp. Oh. 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 Well, you know what? I want my souls first. I want my souls. Let's see. Whoop. Okay. There we go. I don't think I'm missing any items, but you never know. There's an item. There we go. White Titanite chunk. So much Titanite. Again, we get the idea of various Titanites of various eras. Fire Titanite, Holy Titanite, all that. Again, sort of giving us the idea that we're almost going back in time along with the Chloranthy ring to see earlier times in the Medial's history. Before they were, again, hiding in the tops of the arch trees, in the rock caverns where we see they buried their dead. That ancestral burial ground high and above where the dragons might see them. Let's go this way. Do a Titanite. Oh. Oh. Well, that sucks. Do we know if the DS world is flat or round? It's probably round. Because we see certain astrological devices, for example, in the Duke's archives, which are modeled exactly to like studying a globe, essentially. So yeah, the world is probably round. You can argue about other aspects of its cosmology, like, say... Please tell me you die. Nope. Of course you don't. You little shit. Oh. I hate that. I hate that so much. I will never not hate that. Do we know if you make medials sound like squirrels? Listen, you gotta do what you gotta do when you're a bunch of tribal animals, quote unquote. If you gotta hide in the trees, in the rock caverns the trees are holding up, then you do what you do. Only venture out when you need some food. Get some good old basilisk meat. Which you can't even cook first, because you haven't discovered fire yet. So you just eat it raw. Gosh! Medial's had it rough. Man, you wonder why Gwyn got a god complex. Well, just imagine what life was like for him before, when he had literally nothing. He went from having nothing to being able to have dominion over everything. I think you might go to your head a little too. Just saying. Well, I'm not going over there. Oh, no. Of course. You saw that, chat. I tried. I attempted. Attempts were made. Oh, of course. There we go. Ugh, I can climb back. Oh, no. There we go. Let's see. I think that's it. Is there anything up here that I could really use? Let's see. What have I missed besides that thing? Nothing here. Can't really see around here. Nothing here. Like I say, it's convenient this hollow still has a good center of support. The cosmology is pretty interesting. How much the moon and stars we see are just artistic things and how much they're real with deeper meaning. You've already talked about the each arch tree leads to a different world theory. I have not talked about that, Seath, because I'll be honest, I've never even heard that theory. I'll be honest, that sounds kind of bonkers by itself. Like, oh, well, this place takes us underground, so, well, clearly, it must be a completely different universe. It's like, no. It's just, it's a bunch of trees. They hold up the crust. You can literally see it from Nito's domain. Like, it's not hard. It's not complicated. Okay, so, the way I see it, we're pretty good. We're pretty much good. There we go. Okay, they could have smoothed that out. Like, really? Really? So, only lost out on some Titanite lizards. Which, hey, if I wanted to run around here and die a lot, I could do that. Yeah, no. I'm not suicidal. Alright, chat, one more time. Dang it. Just can't. I gotta do a jump, and I'm not risking a jump. That's a yikes. Okay, where is it? Where's the ladder? Oh, Well, that's not a ladder, but I'll take it. Yeah, I see it. I see it. There we go. There we go. How? How? I don't get it. Okay, I guess that's how it works. You go in air and you make it spread farther, but gross. Kimochi. I don't know. Okay. It must be hard in this world. If you've fallen off the carpet, you just can't just go back without jumping on it. Yeah, that's very true. Man, you don't want to fall down a really deep hole, that's for sure. Especially if you're undead, you're like, well, that's the gutter I basically just described. So yeah, that's Dark Souls 2 explored that idea. Hey, don't fall down the pit. Even if you're undead and you somehow survive and not hollow monster, mindless and all, it ain't gonna be good for you. Just leaving that out there. Oh, we can do this. We don't need to go up. We already got that. So there's only that one item, and I don't care enough about it. So the question is, down here. Down here. Well. Nope. Yeah, nope, that wasn't working out. The Great Hollow, more like the Great Drop to Death. Well. Stop it. Well, I guess we can do this. We can do this? Question mark? Then this way. Yeah, but not that way. We go this way. Oh! Wow, this is easier than I thought. Okay. That's all I need to do. Yeah, I know. Oh. Okay. Can you, like, move just ever so slightly? There we go. I wanted to do a plunging attack on you and get you killed in one hit, but whatever. Plunging? Who needs those? Nope, that didn't kill you, of course. What was I expecting? Ooh, Eyes of Death? Well, that killed someone. Eyes of Death. Every time you talk about it, I become more fascinated about the medial's prehistory. Would love to see Miyazaki put his brains and heart in developing that part of the world's history. Yeah, I don't know if he ever will, but it's definitely fascinating to think about. Again, Abyssal Archive touches on just this stuff to give you an idea of what we're given on that front. But again, it's a fascinating idea, right? Like, what was tribal culture like when there was no fire? Again, we have to even think, even tribal man discovered fire, and had it for quite a while. But for the medials, once they discovered fire, it was the thing which propelled their evolution in the truest sense all the way from quote-unquote tribal animals to organized kingdom persons. So it's like fascinating concept being explored there. Alright, so we go this way. I guess I have to go there and then jump on the other one, but God, that sucks. Alright, let's deal with you. No, that angle's not gonna work. I'm still not convinced that's gonna work either. Maybe I can just do this. Nope. The game just won't let me. Alright, no more. No more are we gonna try to get that item. There we go. I hear Crystal Lizard. I don't care for Crystal Lizard. I think it was like here or something. Well, it's gone now. As it deserves. Oh. Whoop. Well. Can I get a ring of sacrifice in early? No. Well, that's 30k souls down the drain. Say bye, souls. Bye, chat. I guess we'll just go around manually. Oh, right. Die. Nope, you fell. Gosh, they really placed them to be the most frustrating here, huh? Whatever, I don't care for them, I care for dragon scales. So let's get ourselves to the bottom. Oh yeah, I got my 0 souls back. Oh, I screwed that up. The fun part is climbing my way back up here. Currently it's just getting down, but then I have to climb my way back up. Oh boy. I foresee that being a experience. Oh. Ay, ay, ay. Why do I even bother? Don't even care for my souls. Oh, there we go. There we go. No, right? It's over here. Oh, no, that's gonna... Wait, how is it that that doesn't cause me to slip off? Whatever. Okay, fine, game. If that's what you say, I'll believe you. Okay, so ladder should be around here. There it is. All I gotta say is these Transcendent Apostle people, they're otakus, that's for sure. They got quite the dedication if they're coming all the way down here. Through this hell. Whoop. Yeah, no, ignoring. Don't care. Gwyn mogs you at parkour apparently. Okay. Whatever, I'll take it. Okay, just bought Abyssal Archive. Let's call it a Christmas gift. Time to take a deeper dive into this world. Wow, that's really cool. Thanks so much, Rapucci. So glad. I assume if you're reading it right away, you got yourself the digital copy. So happy to hear that. Now, as we can see, there are these special mushroom men. They bleed like regular life. Very curious. They're dead. But these mushrooms, which were like fungi, seem to be associated with flora. As I established when we were talking at the Tomb of the Giants, there's this idea that all life essentially began thanks to the rock world that existed before it. The idea that there were plants, animals, and a foundation for which they could flourish upon. And so when disparity got introduced, it just started slowly, gradually transforming those until they became all these species of life in the animal and plant kingdom. In this case, where does fungi fit in? Because obviously fungi, at least in our world, is considered a separate kingdom. Well, they seem to be considered plants, because as we know, we get gold pine resin from them, or associated with them. So there's this idea that, oh, okay, so they're like trees almost. They're kind of a special breed of flora rather than fauna. But as we can see with various flora species here, both artificial and natural, that doesn't really mean too much. Oh, okay. I don't know how I snapped myself out of that. Okay. Hello. Now, big parent, we killed some kids. The parents are mad. What a shocker. And we can't backstab them. No! I'm stupid! I should ignore the parents. They also make the saddest death sound in the whole game. Yeah, probably. Alright. I know the path. Now we want to go this way. Drop down here. Gosh, it's becoming formulaic. That's kind of scary in its own right. Alright, we go this way. Oh. Go this way. We stop short because we want to go this way. Oh. Which will take us down this way, and then this way, and then over here. There we go. Oh. And then we come down this way. But anyway, on to the mushroom men again. That we essentially are given this indication that, oh, okay, so mushrooms are flora, gotcha. But they also, not only have they evolved from the arch-tree ancestor, much like how animal life evolved from the arch-dragon ancestor, it also tells us that they come from the lower world itself, as we can see them being so prevalent here at the bottom of the lower world with these arch-trees. This tells us that when we see them later at Darkroot Garden... Oh, okay. I thought I could just drop on that, but no. Okay. Basically, it tells us that, oh, okay, they were moved from down here with their lightning, their ability to absorb sunlight, even in this low sunlight area. Which makes sense for fungi. And move them all the way up top. Okay. That'll be useful when we get to Ulasil again. Let's see. Yeah, we want to go here. Almost forgot my route. There we go, this way. Then this way. I wish my character would duck or something. It's like, God, you are making things so stressful with the way you, the way your hitbox moves. Ooh, there we go. Since you've already seen him in ER, what's your favorite iteration of Patches? Ooh. That is hard, Sneed. That's a hard choice. I want to say Dark Souls 1 Patches, because it's like those classic Patches, besides Demon Souls, but Demon Souls Patches is a little jank in some of his stuff, like the whole, like, the way he, like, tricks you, like, at Stonefang doesn't work as well as with, Shrine of Storms. Like, it almost feels like the Stonefang one was an afterthought. So, I don't know, I much prefer Dark Souls Patches, I think, overall, between Catacombs and, after that. A lot of people really like, Dark Souls 3 Patches, though, and I don't blame them. Dark Souls 3 Patches has more of a character arc. And it's kind of neat to see some layers being put into him. And they do something similar with Elden Ring. Though, I'll be honest, I'm not entirely confident that I like the direction they go with Patches there. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but I'm not sure if I personally, like, I would consider it my favorite iteration of the character because of it. That said, I will say, I think Elden Ring has one of the better ways of twisting up the formula. Like, I really, really like how you have your first encounter with Patches in that game. Like, Elden Ring is like, it's so memorable. It's like, oh my goodness. Because you just go through the area and I'm like, oh my god, this feels like a Patches area. And then like, oh yeah, it is a Patches area. It literally was set up by Patches. Like, god, that was so brilliant. And it just comes out of nowhere. You just don't expect the Patches boss fight. Alright. I talked about you. I don't need to keep talking about you. We're leaving. Bye-bye. Fogwall. Where are we going? Oh. We are in Ash Lake. Now again, here we are. We see the lower world. Now, unlike what we see in the cinematic, there is lots of water here. And ambient music. What are you doing there, ambient music? Oh boy. Now, as we can see, while it's called Ash Lake, not a lot of ash in the lake. Looks like some pretty normal water, all things considered. Well, what about the beach? No, this looks like some pretty normal sand for a beach. Compared to, say, Dark Souls 3 and what we see there. Looking pretty just regular-ass beach. Erosion caused of rock by the water, causing a bunch of it to turn into sand. So yeah. Okay, so well maybe it's called Ash Lake because ash, the kanji for ash, is the same kanji used for the color gray. It literally is ash color. So maybe therefore it's just saying, oh, it's a reference to the opening cinematic when everything was one uniform element, a gray rock. Okay, maybe. There wasn't color to the universe yet, so this is just like Ash Lake in that regard. It's just a reference to the opening. Oh, that's possible. But you have to also ask yourself, where's all the fog? Got little cloudy bits up there, but it's all water here. A little bit of a hazy mist almost in the distance. Huh. Lots of water in this lake. Oh wait, I want to go here. Makes you have to wonder, what is ash in the end? Ash is the byproduct of fire burning through its kindling, its matter. The world with which it, the space, I should say, with which it feeds off of. And what is it that fire feeds off of in this universe? Well, of course, we talk about souls and disparity. Ironically, the creator of disparity, fire, is also simultaneously fed and kept alive by disparity. Sort of a chicken or the egg scenario, because again, the universe didn't have time before Flame, so essentially when Disparity came to exist and create Flame, it at the same point is also, of course, coming into existence because of Flame. It's a very interesting temporal concept to wrap your head around. But again, it's because of the unique nature of the universe where, again, when there was only rock, there was no differences, there was no time. So everything was just, again, simultaneity. But the point I'm trying to make here is, Now that that was changed with fire, we can see that, of course, it burns souls, disparity, but it also is burning the rest of the universe. It permeates all things. It is the reason why these arch trees eventually became just regular trees. It is the reason why these arch dragons became just regular dragons with wyverns, or scaleless like Seath, and eventually snakes, and those snakes eventually became other types of creatures of flesh. What I'm trying to get at is, maybe the lake itself, the water, and the even the beach, which results from the erosion which creates these sandy dunes here, are all a product, are the ash in a proverbial sense. That they are the residue of fire burning through this universe. All this water likely dripping down as it rains from the sky. Coming down and eventually coming down all the way here. Now we see Dark Souls 3 build on this with the long time water coming down, creating stalactites / stalagmites and things like that. Again, you can watch my Dark Souls 3 lore play for me to talk about that a little bit more. But we get the idea that, okay, the water just keeps raining down through the cracks in the earth and all that, coming all the way down to the bottom of the lower world, eroding the rock there to create these beaches. Huh. Has to make you wonder. Perhaps this is the consequence of the universe. This is the ash and residue left in the wake of fire burning. Because, again, where's the fog? Why is it all water? What is water in a cosmology where fire is defined by light and dark, not by the idea that you think is more natural, fire and water, something which douses flames? Huh. Something to think about. I do touch upon this a little bit in Abyssal Archive at the very end, but I'll save that for you guys to read because, again, it is it's quite the deep lore theory, as it were. Now, as we can see, there's a Hydra down here telling us that the Hydra with Seath's crystal golems, well, is in fact a it's in fact from here as well, which makes sense because this is also a lake and there's a lot more space for it to move compared to the Darkroot Garden Lake. So yeah. Go on. There we go. Oh god, no, this is gonna be one of those moments, huh? Come on. You done? Oh, whoopsie, I let go, I guess. Oh, no. You done? Oh, no, I'm just at a bad angle, apparently. Okay. Let's go about here. Go on. Oh. Oh boy, chat, this is gonna take a while. Come on. Come on. Let it do the Free Willy move. I don't know what the Free Willy move is, to be honest, Sneed. I'm afraid I don't get the reference. Oh, I get what you mean. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Okay, never mind. I get... Yeah, that took a few seconds. There we go. You wanted to do the jumpy jump. Okay. Okay, I get you, Sneed. You wanted to do, the free... Yeah, okay. Dragon scale, that's what I wanted. Alright. Come on. Come on. Let's show it off. Let's show it off to all the kids in class. Come on. Come on, you stupid Hydra. Move. Move, you damn stupid. You done? Maybe if I go further. There we go. So it dives underwater. And makes its jump. It's a pretty janky animation, not gonna lie. But hey. It's cool. Not gonna lie, I miss it though being on this side, so we're gonna go this way. Hey, giant dragon skull. I'll talk about you in a second. Just a hot minute. Come on, buddy. I know you can do it. You can do it. Get over here. Yeah. Mi amore mio bello. Come on. There it goes. It's quite adapted to the area. Now again, we'll have a lot more to talk about with the water and stuff beyond what I just already said. But we'll have to wait till we get to New Londo. For now, though, just note that how we've seen both the frog rays and the lake beasts are both designed to deal with the surface. They're not deep sea life. Their bodies are designed to be long and flat, wide and flat, I should say, not long and flat. Well, I guess they're also long, but you know, that's just because it has lots of long necks. But point is that it's designed in order to float near the surface, to have a lot of buoyancy. Oh. I swear I'm gonna kill this thing before it loses its heads at this rate. Wow, it's almost dead. And still so many heads left. Oh my gosh, so close! Almost there, chat. It's almost dead. Finally, after 4 million years. Yeah, there we go. Give me my dragon scales, you punk. Yeah, dragon scales times 2. And just enough souls for me to make use of all that. Woo. Oh. Now that we don't have to deal with that anymore, we can now talk about this over here. Now, as we can see, there are little newborn arch trees growing underneath this one. Obviously, this hollow has died, but it seems that it has left seeds for a new, several new great trees to replace it. So it's kind of cool. We see how the one dead tree is bringing forth new life, new stony barked life. There's something almost meditative about that. Well, I'm glad at least you got something out of it there. I blame the music. I think it's all in the music. Alright, reinforced weapon. Priscilla's dagger. We need another 10k to keep upgrading that. Gotcha. Right, there we go. Now, as we can see, there's another great tree over there. We can head over. So we can see, okay, this one's dead. It's growing new sprouts, as it were. Making up for the fact that the poison swamp killed its mommy / daddy. I don't know, it's a tree. And now we see some broken ones over there. Perhaps remnants of the dragon hunts. As we see in the cinematic, even the arch trees were affected by all the destruction and chaos of the conflict. But what we want is that tree at the far back with all the roots and everything. Well, not roots, but, you know, branches growing out in that wonderful swirly way. We can, of course, see, again, more evidence of evolution. We see something similar to a giant skull. Except this thing has super long tusk-like teeth. Very sharp. And horns. Now, Dark Souls 3 will talk about horned giants called Oni. So whether this is, again, an example of that horned giant Oni, or just another species in the evolutionary tree between dragons and the bipedal life forms, who knows? Now, Here we have what are called the man-eater shells in English, but the Japanese name is the five-legged or five-leg bivalves. Bivalve is a reference to the bivalve mollusks, which of course clamshells are a part of, oysters included. The idea being is that while these bivalves or oysters are, they do in fact have similar abilities to create pearls. Dark Souls 3 reinforces that with Shira's crown. What we see inside their mouths here isn't sand or any type of thing that they would use their crystallization lacquer method to create a pearl, but instead we see what's becoming smooth and shiny are skulls. And there they are eating us. Like that. Oh. Well, it's okay, I didn't like that weapon anyway. Ouch. So again, we can see the idea that the English term man-eater shell is quite accurate. These creatures eat people. Why is this relevant? Well, we'll see when we get to Duke's Archives, but... just to know that these are another native life form to the Ash Lake, clearly. We can see one, how they burrow in the shallows of the beach, even in little holes they dig for themselves as we go further up. Make their home there. Oh my... you are a pain in the ass no matter what, aren't you? Actually, can I bleed you? I actually don't know. Do you have blood? You are, I guess you're like fish? But you're all hard shell. Might be a bloodless creature, as they say. There we go. I need 10k. Give me 10k. Alright. We see another one of you. Honestly, you're not even worth it. You're not worth it. It takes too long to kill all of you. Why do I have a stat down? Did I... is it because of my weapon? Oh, is that why? Are all my weapons just near breaking point and I didn't realize? Yeah, durability's low. Durability's low. Okay. That's probably why the damage is so abysmal. Huh. Well, fine. We'll go all the way back. I gotta repair my weapons. I should have known after fighting that Hydra for so long that all my stuff was gonna be low on durability. Man, I wish I had a horse. A spectral steed, as it were, that I could just summon out of thin air with a whistle ring. Yes, grow. Grow my tree into new life. Very conveniently opening there on the destruction of this hollow, but I'll take it. Got me down here, that's all that matters. Okay. Woo! Now again, we can see, of course, a clear vista. Now from Dark Soul, from Tomb of the Giants, we could see, of course, this same Ash Lake from there. So the idea would be that somewhere up in the rafters there'd be a rock opening or what have you, and we would have a hole to peer straight down. Now, unfortunately, that isn't reflected here in game. As you may recall, the Tomb of the Giants had a giant cliffside with which we should be able to see everything from here. At least the giant rock wall. But it's not there. Miyazaki and company, much like with the Valley of Drakes to Darkroot Garden Basin, didn't want anything obstructing the view. So they just kind of remove the rock wall. They're just like, nope, we won't show it. We don't wanna mar this beautiful horizon with a giant mound of rock. Same thing for Islith, right? Islith is a giant cavern, which is parallel to Ash Lake, underground, and even in some cases below it. So it's very odd that we essentially have, very odd that we can't be able to see that giant cavern. But hey, they don't want to show it. Don't blame them. There we go. Ooh. Right. Poise. Alright, still too little damage to make this worthwhile. Let's ignore it. Okay. To the broken tree. Now again, this is where we will see more basilisks, giving us the idea that the basilisks from the Great Hollow and those seen in the depths also originate from down here. Again, makes sense, they are lizards, so the idea that they might be distant dragon descendants, which are, again, still reptilian, they haven't gone that far from the evolutionary tree, wouldn't be too bad, especially when they have the ability to turn things back into stone, as if they evolved because they realized the world was becoming less stone, and they wished to bring things back to the way things were on an instinctual level. Okay, this is one way in. Also, they're apparently even squishier than the other basilisk were. Oh no. This is awkward. I don't know why you guys are so squishy compared to your 4-hit friends, but I will take it. Right, we want to go there. Thank you. Appreciate it, mate. We go this way. There we go. Right? Is this it? No, it's further in, right? No. Oh. Or I'm just stupid. That's always a possibility. Like I said, chat, this is gonna be this will probably be the whole stream. Because then we have to climb back up after this. Honestly, I might even make the climb up, I might even end the stream early just to do the climb up on my own time, so you guys don't have to watch it. I have one item, though, that I really, really, really want to grab, so... There we go. Oh. Oh. Yep. We're safe. Alright, let's get the item over here first. Corpse floating in the water. Dragon scale. Alright, now how do I get the item that I want? Questions, questions. I guess we go this way. It must be that little... Oh. It must be here. Oh. Oh. Yeah, there it is. Okay, I was just looking the wrong direction. I just want to point out, I'm not standing on anything, but the game says I am. There we go. Camera, don't fail me now. There we are, Great Magic Barrier. Are we away from big scary mushroom parent? Is the mushroom man after me? Nope. I think we're good. Again, as we can see here, a five-legged bivalve in its natural habitat. Just sort of squatting there in its little sand hole it dug for itself. Now, of course, we can see from the fact that it's eaten so many people and it's turning them into pearls that this five-legged bivalve here is getting a lot of human prey coming through here. Again, this makes sense given the fact that allegedly so many undead are coming down here to worship the archdragon, who we will find just ahead. We go here along the sandy beaches, the dune paths. We come all the way here and we see, yep, it's true, there's a stone archdragon, just as Domhnall told us. Again, at least 2 wings, at least 2 arms, at least 2 legs. We can see, of course, here. A tail. Now, this creature does not mind if we cut off its tail. Yes, bleed. Woo! The idea being... Oh. The idea being that it's stone, it does not experience pain as we do as a creature of stone, transcending our weak flesh. It also invokes the idea of Zen meditation, as we'll see by how it's crisscross its legs, see? You can see how the legs are crisscrossed with those front arms and all that. The point here, we can enter the covenant. Now, it infuses some of its dragon power into us, giving us a dragon eye, which we can use to manipulate the power of fog to put down special signs. Again, this gives us the idea that the dragons were the first magic users. Just existing in a world of rock where there was only rock and fog, naturally they learned to manipulate those elements of the universe. Obviously, rock comes intrinsically to them. Fog is something that just surrounds them at the beginning, so it just comes natural. And again, we see how they can use it to great effect. Now, fog, of course, erases, removes. I can't recall if I've talked about this in earlier streams, but much like in Demon Souls, it covers the idea of nothingness. Both in the literal absence of something, where there's nothing there, but physically, but also the idea of conceptual nothingness. The idea that ideas, things which exist in the abstract, are also governed by fog. The idea being that it removes your presence, it makes you sort of less real, less physically there, or what have you. But again, in a world where dragons are somehow different than the trees and, more importantly, the rocky crags, there's the idea that consciousness, the idea of having a mind divorced from before the soul, of disparity takes over there, is something that we can imagine being possible because there is this idea of fog, that nothing includes also this conceptual abstract thing of the mind, the thought, the consciousness. So cool there. Obviously, we can offer dragon scales. It will take this stone scale and infuse that power into the stones that we collect. These dragon stones will allow us to turn into a fearsome archdragon. Alright, you have to be naked for it, right. But the idea, of course, being that you strip your clothes, you strip yourself of your things which make you a man, your civilized clothing, shame, all that stuff. You become closer to the archdragon, who is itself naked. And in doing so, you use the power of the dragon stones to transform yourself into an archdragon much like it. So the dragon stones themselves are its power that it gives, much like the dragon eye. Again, the term dragon eye here meaning a archdragon eye, the old dragons. is being used here. Now, this dragon headstone similarly makes the idea that you use this secret rite, essentially, this this ability to become much like the archdragon there. I think that covers it all here. We got our tail from this creature, which again reminds us that it is a stone. It's a stone archdragon. Again, they just refer to it as stone dragon here, but again, it's supposed to be it's referred to as in the official names and in here as the stone archdragon. The idea being that, again, it's an everlasting dragon, much like the others we've seen described, like Calamite, Seath, Gaping Dragon, etc. Again, same thing with the mystical, meaning mysterious, the secrets of gods, because again, the gods, as owners of pet dragons and dragon parts and all that, are very much familiar with the power of dragons, and obviously they hunted them. And then, of course, the idea that this is a descendant, much like the Gaping Dragon is a descendant, because again, these are not the original generation of dragons. This one seems to have grown up by itself, but it wants friends, so it's sort of taken on this idea as a Zen master, trying to teach you how to meditate and find your spiritual enlightenment as a transcendent apostle, to transcend this mortal coil and reach the nirvana that is the stone existence. To be a creature of stone, immortal, unchanging, unmoving, not fickle like weak life. Again, we also get this idea here with the dragon eye. The idea that so they pray, worship the ancient dragon. To be alive is to be vulnerable. So the idea that, the Japanese here says more like the idea that to be alive or living is a weakness. And the idea is that the fiery gods are no exception. So what he said here is that the gods who are persons of fire, versus, say, how humans are described, humans and servants of the dark, and say, like, the dark ember. Oh, we don't have that anymore, right? Or do we? No, we don't. We can hand it over. Is the idea that humans and stuff are described as persons of dark. So, like, there's this idea that, okay, gods, they, through their power of sunlight or chaos fire or what have you, they are creatures, they, again, obviously Nito's excluded here. The gods of Velka and New Londo and stuff are beings of fire, and therefore, they are very much inexorably tied to this idea of being life. So for all their power over fire and all that, it's still over the disparity that revolves around living and dying. Versus, say, again, everlasting dragons, you become stone, you don't perish, you don't rot, you don't change over time. You will forever be there as long as you, well, don't get killed in a boss fight, I guess. That is the idea. They wish to transcend being fleshy life. Okay, so I think we're ready to get out of here. Let's see. I need 10k. Yes, I need 10k. We'll keep that on because we'll need it later. Yeah, so I'm gonna need 10k in order to get all the way over to leveling up this weapon again. But still, its damage number is going up, and I do like that. Then if I get my dexterity up along with that, plus the occult damage, might be really good in the Ornstein and Smo fight. At least against Ornstein. I haven't decided which boss I want to fight yet. I've done Smo most of the time, but honestly, Ornstein's really tickling my fancy. Alright. Anything else we can do down here? I don't think so. Yeah, I think Laurentius is gone. We did, Crestfallen Warrior. We did, Siegmeyer. Siegmeyer! Word is the next one. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else we could possibly do here. I think it's just go back to Velka and New Londo and do the stuff we haven't done, namely Ornstein and Smo. And then move on. In that case, chat, I'm gonna call it here early. because I don't want to have you guys have to watch me suffer through going back all the way up and back to New Londo from here. I'd much rather do that on my own time off screen, so that way next episode we can go straight into Ornstein and Smo without any trouble, and not having you waste an extra hour watching this video, especially for VOD viewers. So, let's get to this bonfire and call it. A little shorter than usual, but kind of a different kind of episode that we're doing than most. I somehow didn't go crazy in my obsession for stone scales, though. I just got my scales. That's cool. How many do I have in total? Oh, right. 5. I think that should be enough to get me to +5 then, if I get enough souls to level up. I also have to make up for that 30k I lost, so there'll be some farming I'll have to do off stream too. Okay, yeah, guys. We're gonna have to end this here. Again, thank you so much for helping out. Again, please like and subscribe. It really helps with the channel and stuff. I'd really, really, really love having you guys here, asking questions, giving your own commentary. Obviously, adding brevity to my very, very boring Dark Souls commentary. I mean, why are you guys even here to watch it then? It's so awful. Anyway. It was great having you all, guys. Is there any unified dragon cult, or are the different cults in the different games just cultural convergent evolution? There is no unified dragon cult, no. The idea is that dragon worship is very localized, right? You have the mainstream faiths, generally, and there's obviously a bunch of localized faiths even in the world of man, as we see with Dark Souls 2, like, outside of the reach of the Way of White and stuff. The Way of White's a unifying force. Again, the Way of White, we only can date back to the events of the undead curse coming into existence, because that seems to be why it exists, right? It exists so that way there's a unified church with a unified message. No more of this, okay, you each have your individual cults of gods or whatever, but we're going to create this unified religious message now through the Way of White. Undead bad, filtering do, you know, everyone needs to be on the same page because we can't risk it now that the fire's weak. There are all these dark heathens out there, all these heretics we need to eliminate to make sure that everyone is following this one orthodoxy, right? And dragon worship is just sort of this idea of, okay, there's these secret basically Buddhists, essentially, right? Who want to try to transcend this mortal coil, right? They don't want to just, like, worship gods who can't even do anything for them. Their problem of, you know, being alive, of actually, you know, suffering and aging and dying. So it's like, okay, if you can't even help stop us from death by natural means, and you obviously bemoan and despise immortality in any of its forms, undeath or the living dead, as we can see, thanks to Nito, then, okay, fine, then we're just gonna, like, secretly worship this dragon, it'll give us our immortality, and we'll become dragons that you hate so much. So, like, that's the idea there, and it takes whatever form is needed in the area, each game. So it's like, Aldia's cult in, Dark Souls 2, and it's not even really Aldia's cult, it's sort of like a cult that starts up in Aldia's territory, is different from, say, Dark Souls 3 Nameless King's cult, and very different, of course, from the Dragon Apostles here. These just seem to be residents of the Undead Burg that happen to have found their way to the Archdragon down here, right? We saw with the twin humanities being left behind in the chest there, right? And one left like a shield, right? So you have these poor, weak, awful undead living terrible lives in Blighttown or the Depths or whatever, or maybe they're just visiting. Then they leave that stuff behind because they understand now that there is a archdragon that someone happened to climb all the way down here for God knows what reason, explore this lower world and find it here, then come back to the others and say, hey, we can all be dragons, and a bunch of people started joining together and coming and worshiping the dragon there. As we can see, many who make this pilgrimage do not survive because of those man-eater shells, so the path to the dragon is not easy. Not easy at all. But anyway, that's going to be the last question for today. Chat, again, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Until next time, bye.